This is Sassy Sweaters and Cardigans. Now, that sassy to me is a southern word because we like to jazz everything up with ruffles and rhinestones and anything else we can bling it up with. And you can see I have a rhinestone zipper in this sweater behind me. So I'm going to show you how to do this, but I do want to tell you that you can also go to a thrift store and buy a sweater, or go to a retail store and buy a sweater and jazz it up the way I'm going to show you. So it's fun to do that because it makes it your own. Now in the book, you're going to follow the directions step by step on how to make the sweater to begin with. You're going to start with your master pattern, as we've started with all of them. You're going to have your master pattern. This is what it looks like. You're not going to cut this up. You're going to make a new one because you're going to purchase patternees to make your new pattern. Now what you're going to do for that new pattern, and if you go back to chapter 2, it tells you how to make a pattern for a jacket, and that's exactly what we're going to do, because you can put buttons and buttonholes in this jacket, you can put the zipper in this jacket, you can do whatever you want to the jacket. But I do suggest that you add at least an inch to the center front to do this. Now I do like buttons and buttonholes, but what's going to make the zipper perfect and the buttons and buttonholes perfect is French fuse. Now French fuse comes beige, white, and black. It's a tricot interfacing. It literally disappears when it's on the inside of your sweater. You won't see it, but boy, you're going to know it's there when you go to put a zipper in or you go to put buttons and buttonholes in. So I love French fuse. Now I want to talk just a little bit about the fabric, because I keep saying sweater knit. You don't have to use sweater knit if you don't want to. That's your choice. What I would suggest you do is to go to the website and Google sweater knit and see what comes up. Please don't buy anything online unless you ask for a sample. Most of the stores that sell online will send you a sample and they're going to charge you for it, but they take that off of your final bill when you order the fabric. You want to make sure that you feel this, because you know what you like. I have no idea what you like. I know what I like, but I don't know what you do. So you can choose to do whatever weight sweater knit you want. Now, sweater knit comes in a lot of different weights to begin with, but you can make it heavier if you choose to, because in the one I'm going to show you in a minute, we've actually put French fuse on the back side of it. So that makes it a lot heavier. It does not take away the capability of the knit, because that's why you're buying it, because it's comfortable. French fuse also stretches, so you're not really losing any of the properties of the knit, but you are making it just a little bit more stable. So you have something that looks a little more structured. You're going to know that it's more structured. Nobody else will when they see it on you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our master pattern, and we're going to make it for the sweater. We're going to add to the center front, and if you look very carefully at what I have here, and I'll tell you what, let me just put this around me to show you what I'm talking about. What I have here is there's no French fuse on this. So this is nice and soft. I will put French fuse down the center front because I'm going to put buttons and buttonholes into this sweater. So you're going to sew the shoulder seams together first, and then you're going to put the sleeves in. The directions for doing that are in chapter 1, so very, very simple to do. And that would be a high neck cardigan. So that's going to be finished off however you want to finish it off. I always suggest you use just Chanel trim around the edges. This one is a little bit heavier, and if you look, I've got basting stitch on here, a decorative stitch on my sewing machine, and I've done this with 12 weight thread. It shows up a lot better with the 12 weight thread, and I'm going to decorate this entire sweater with white buttons, the white top stitching, and I'm also going to use white Chanel trim. So real simple to do. Now you can't do Chanel trim when you have a point like this. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the two fronts together, and I would put the two fronts together before you actually sew it together. But because we're filming it, we sewed it together first. I'm going to lay this on the table. Now, you remember that I told you that if you're afraid to cut, just cut, then you need to draw it. And you can draw it with chalk. It's wonderful if you draw it with chalk, and then you can follow your chalk line. I always suggest that you cut it higher than you think you want it to be, and the reason being is you can always go back and cut it lower, but you can't ever add back into it. So I know about where I'm going to go with this. There is a template on the back of the pattern for V-necks, and you can use that as a guide as to what to cut. So what I'm going to do is just cut the neckline like this. And this gives you the cardigan look. Now I want to show you that there's kind of a point right here. Not a problem. You're just going to cut that off and smooth it out just a bit. You know, sewing this way without an actual pattern really makes you the designer, and so you get to choose what style you like and what style you don't. Now this fabric is called French terry. Again, go to your Google and type in French terry because you'll find it everywhere. French terry has a terry side, like a towel on one side, and it's smooth on the other. So it depends on what side you want to use for your trim. So I'm going to show you, let me fold this real quick and show you what this is going to look like once I have the Chanel trim on the edge. Isn't that going to be cute? Especially if I use white buttons. So this is a great way to accent anything. This is why I'm telling you, you could go to a retail store and you could buy a sweater and you can cut off the edge of it and finish it off with Chanel trim in a different color. So it kind of makes it your own. Now Barbara, by the way, this is Barbara. Hi Barbara.
Hi Judy.
Barbara, you all have met in many of my videos. Barbara is my friend that lives in Southern California, and I come to Southern California all the time, and then Barbara and I get to sew together. We call ourselves our sew sisters because we like to do that. And we like to create, and we love to shop, don't we?
Yes,
We're
we
bad
do.
at that. We love to shop. Anyway, if you look at the beautiful red sweater that Barbara has on, she has finished the edge with Chanel trim. And see how nice this lays? I'm going to pull this out just a little bit so you all can see exactly how I cut that other one off. That's exactly the way Barbara did. It doesn't look like it's cut into a V, but it is. If I pull it over like this, you can see the V just a little bit more. But it hangs beautifully. Now this is real lightweight sweater knit, right?
Yes.
And this sweater knit has no French fuse on it at all because the bulk of that is finished with that Chanel trim. So it's a really simple sweater to make, and it's a comfortable sweater to wear.
Yes,
You look
it is.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
So now go make yourself some sweaters. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to check out the website. Everything is on there. You can purchase the pattern, the book, all the notions I talked about. You can join the Fit Club and check out the classes where I'm teaching. And be sure to follow me on Facebook.